The roles, expectations, and beliefs of women have evolved from nation to nation, district to district, culture to culture, and home to home. Women who are mothers in many parts of the world are expected to stay home and dedicate their energy to child raising, while in other places, particularly in the Western countries, the women return to paid work after bearing children. The stipulations of dress code, religious traditions, and social norms continue to be placed upon thousands of women across the globe. But here in our country, Belize, the challenges of the Belizean woman are real and at times overbearing. With Women's Month being celebrated over the next 3 weeks, I decided to highlight some of those challenges women face today. Cynthia Williams heads the Women's Department in Belize City, and she spoke to us on the hurdles women are trying to overcome in our society.
Every story is a different story when we work with women who for one reason or another may not have known or may not have been prepared to have the skills to be able to plan or budget so that whenever they are facing financial constraints they're able to manage, especially for women who live situations of violence. It makes it even much harder for them. We recognize that that is an issue that women are facing more and more each day, where the relationships that they're involved with or the situations put them in a situation where they have no control whatsoever of their finances. And so sometimes even though they may be earning something, they lose that control of that finance because of the decisions that their partner has to make. We do have a lot of women who do face those type of challenges where some of them are unemployed and so they lack the financial resources to provide for their children. Many instances, of course, these are women who are single mothers or women who don't have a partner who is living with them 100% of the time. They may be in visiting relationships, and so the inability for them to have the financial resources to provide for their children really puts them in a situation where they cannot get a new skill because they don't have someone to take care of their children. They cannot get a job because they don't have anybody to take care of their children, and they don't have any type of support from family or even friends who will be able to at least look for their children while they do that. So that what we see quite frequently with women who are coming in.
While Williams is in an ideal position to attest to the pains and strides of a woman and a mother, we wanted to hear it from them. And so we set out downtown Belize City to see what women had to say.
Unemployment. If we do get one job, it's minimum wages they're willing to offer, or you have to do things where, and two, having kids. The dad's not there for the kids. You as one single parent have to play every possible role there is.
A lot of women go through different kind of stuff. Main factor are single mothers raising children on their own, struggling on a daily basis to put food on the table. We don't have a lot of jobs for women. Jobs there, but not as much as a woman could really accept.
My problem is that the father for the children, maintain the children and things, so I don't really know. Because we're not getting no justice from the family court with the parents of the children, and the parents don't want to mind the children. And I go through, let's say, several years, like over 7 years I go through this, that my children and partner want mine. I've been through court and then who will grab this man and let him go. This man who over 6,400, and I don't get no justice out of it, so I really give it up. So that's my problem, and that's my suffering while I go through with my children right now. Because I have 7 children and me want to struggle for them.
Some of the challenges women face: domestic violence, they can't be dependent, they don't have a good education to get a job to support themselves, or probably they're a single mother. They have to do whatever it takes for maintain their family and keep their bills and things paid.
Some of the challenges that women face, being single mothers, How would I think? Because a lot of women in Belize are single parent. They are both mom and dad for their children.
It hard even if you have a man by your side, right? Because I have my challenges. I have an 18-year-old, and I had my fill of the troubles where he give. The only thing is I never give up on her, and I appreciate it. Because he say he don't know if he may still living, if he may give up on her. So it hard even with both parents. So I can imagine being a single mother, to raise kids by my own, especially males.
The dominant issue, as you would have noticed, revolves around finances and single parenting. And even with all that, some women still have to deal with legal issues within the court system. That in itself poses an even greater challenge.
Sometimes they're embroiled with a legal battle with their partner over children, over property, and they don't really have the skills or the information to be able to defend themselves. So we have many women who often are served with orders from court, and they have to respond by a specific time, and they again don't have the financial resources to be able to access a lawyer. Or be able to have the skills to say, well, you know what, this is what I can do. So they come to us as well to be able to see how we can assist us. Currently, we do have some attorneys at the legal aid center, so that kind of provides a bit more help for them, because then we're able to direct them to those attorneys. We have also developed relationships with attorneys over the year, because we've often offered legal clinics with some of them, and so often we're able to just give one a call and let them know this is the situation, what can the person do. Another challenge that we also see in terms of women facing is having to deal with your own personal self-worth. I think that also has to do because of the trauma that they have faced. People really don't understand that it doesn't matter how small the traumatic event that women face, if you don't deal with it, and we're not talking only about women, but it does affect women in a very peculiar way. If they don't deal with it, that in itself starts to diminish who you think you are as a person and what your value is. And once you begin to doubt that, once you begin to see yourself any less, then you'll allow others or situations to put you down, especially those who live in situations that are filled with violence, because they feel that they have nowhere to go and they have to stay in those type of situations. So women tend to often be demoralized. They become traumatized by the same events often that they may also live even while growing up, because the stories that we hear, there's often a link to their own childhood, their own experience growing up in the neighborhood. And so we're not the only ones to say, but studies have shown that whenever someone lives or child lives in a situation with violence, they either become the perpetrator of violence or they become a victim of violence.
According to Williams, there are several organizations in the country geared at helping our women, whether it is with counseling and therapy, support while embattled in a volatile domestic situation, or even free legal advice. But resources are limited, social workers are few, and cases are piling up. We will follow up on how government officials are tackling these issues and what kind of system is in place to try to make it better. Reporting for Love News, I am Renee Trujillo.